ओ ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शंकरं लोकशंकरं समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं परमानन्दमाधवम्। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवती अष्टादशाध्यायिनी अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी। ओम श्री परमात्मने नमः। उद्धरेदात्मनात्मानं
नात्मानमवसादयेत्
आत्मैव ह्यात्मनो बन्धुः आत्मैव रिपुरात्मनः कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भूः मा ते संगोऽस्त्वकर्मणि यद्करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत् यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम्। So karma yoga is prasada buddhi and ishvararapana buddhi. Prasada buddhi, when you get the results. Results can be success and failure, joy and sorrow, honor and dishonor, whatever it may be. So when they come, you have done the actions to the best of your capacity. When they come, you accept it as God's blessing. You accept it with equanimity. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Equanimity is yoga, is karma yoga. Okay? Prasada buddhi. And prasada buddhi was highlighted in Karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu. So don't be attached to the results. Means, what does it mean? It means don't be insistent upon the results. It doesn't mean that you're not putting your best for the results. Even after you put your best, it's not always that what you want happens. But it is fine. I accept it. Today morning we saw in detail how Bhagavan, this whole cosmos, how Bhagavan does what is required. So each one of us will get what is required, when it is required, how it is required, all will happen according to that cosmic plan. Accept it. And you will always see it is for good. At that time probably we can't see. But in time we will see it is for our good. That was the Karmanyevadikaraste. Now, Ishvararpana Buddhi. Yat karoshi, yadashnasi, yajjuhoshi, dadasi yat, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you express out from karma, whatever you consume out to in, with Juhoshi, whatever worship you perform, Dadasi, whatever you give, you share, whatever charity you're engaged in. And sometimes when we say give, it does not have to be always financially. It can be your time. It can be your energy. It can be your expertise. It can be your knowledge. It can be your love. It can be your affection. It can be sometimes a simple smile, which makes other person feel better. Sometimes you can give a shoulder for somebody to lean. So many things. Tadasiyat, yat tapasyasi, and whatever sadhana you undertake, tat kurushva madarpanam. Do all of them as an offering unto me. Tat kurushva, that you do as an offering unto me. What do you mean by offering unto me? Let's say a tree is there, a plant is there, a tulsi plant is there. You can offer some water. That's very clear, you can offer. Physically, you are giving something. When it is said, offer your actions to God, you cannot take like water and then pour it to Bhagavan. So what does it mean, offering to God? Offering to God means doing it for God's happiness, not for one's happiness. Usually all actions we do for our happiness, is it not? Action is an expression of desire. From desire comes action. And the result of action is to fulfill one's desire. So that's how we are locked in selfishness. Now Karma Yoga opens up selflessness. In Karma Yoga, you take duty and you offer that duty as your expression of worship, as your expression of love for the Lord. So offering the action is but bringing in the thought in the mind. What thought? This is for God's happiness. All actions are usually meant for my happiness. Now this is meant for God's happiness. Thus you take the ego out of the picture. God's happiness. So this is called as offering actions unto the Lord. Now a question may come. Offering something to the, let's say, offering something to somebody, or offering, as we took the example, water for the tulsi plant. It's a one time. You can remember to do. Every day, morning at 7 o'clock, I have to offer water to tulsi plant. Or suppose you have some roses and other plants, shrubs at your home. You have a terrace garden. Or in your own flat, you have outside, you have some plants. You can water. You can remember also. 7 o'clock every day I have to do. Little bit here and there, sometimes it goes, but every day you can do. But how to offer all actions to God? Have you thought of that? Meaning in actions come breathing also. Every time you have to remember, I am offering it to Bhagavan and breathe, finished. You can't do anything. Because here it is not said one action. Yat karoshi, yadashnasi, yajjuhoshi, dadasi yat, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam, all actions. How can one offer all actions to Bhagavan? Is it practically possible? And we know what is offering. Offering is what? Offering is doing for God's happiness. Doing for Bhagavan's. I'm doing it for my Krishna, I'm cooking my food for my Krishna. I'm bathing for Krishna. I'm lighting the lamp in my home for Krishna. I'm cleaning my home for Krishna. I'm wearing my dress for Krishna. I'm going for the marriage function for Krishna. I'm going for somebody's reception for Krishna. I'm going to my office for Krishna. I'm working hard for Krishna. How does one offer everything to Bhagavan? How it is possible? Can you offer one action? Oh, that means before I start an action, I'm saying, I'm offering this to Krishna. Or at the end of the action, I say, Bhagavan, like puja, how at the end we say, Samarpayami. So like that, do we offer our action to Bhagavan at the end or at the beginning? Before we start, we remember? Do you think it is possible? Some actions may be possible, but every action. Offering all actions to Bhagavan is to offer yourself to Bhagavan. When you offer yourself, all that you do becomes offered. That is the secret there. You offer yourself. But how do I offer myself? Action means I can offer by saying, Bhagavan, it is for your happiness. How do I offer myself? Action I understand how to offer. Myself, how do I offer? First let us understand. What do you mean by? You see, some of you are mothers. All of us definitely have mothers. In a home, when a baby is there at home, you see that everybody, their life is going around what? That baby only. Have you seen that? And those mothers, when you had a child to raise, how was your mind? Everything is for the child, is it not? Did you tell yourself, I'm taking bath now for the child? No, you took bath at that time because child will be requiring me. I took bath, finish. Child is now resting. Now I should take my bath now. You prepared food for. I mean, everything you did, but in the background of your heart, what was? Background of your anything you might have done. You know, in the background, what was there? Baby, baby, baby. Was it not there? That is called offering yourself to the baby. You didn't do any effort. Suppose we have to think, yat karoshi, yadashnasi, yajjuhoshi, dadasi, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurusha madarpadam. One more work they have given me. Already I am so busy. One more work they have put on me. No, was it any effort? Was the mother to remember the baby? The mother is so attentive and so sensitive, my God. That single little cry, nobody is hearing, but she hears. Ultra sensitive. She is. Effortlessly. Yeah? She is not thinking, I have to remember. Baby crying, or not, I have to remember. No. Effortlessly she is remembering. Why? Because now she is no more a lady. She is a mother. That motherliness, that motherhood has come. When that motherhood has come, all that that thinking about that baby is not an effort, it's not an action. It is a natural aspect of her. In the same way, offering all actions to Bhagavan is offering oneself to Bhagavan, and offering oneself to Bhagavan is by knowing I am a bhakta. I am a devotee. That's all. You become a devotee, then everything you do will be offered to Bhagavan naturally. And we can, we have this capacity. House is a father. The moment he steps, the moment he wears his dress and is ready to go to the office, suddenly the mind has changed. And he steps into that presence of that office. Everything is different. I had a friend. And I'm meeting him after a long time. But he's a policeman. Okay? And I do meet him often and all those. Once in the bus stand I met him. Policeman he is. And by mistake I put my hand on him. He's wearing a policeman dress. He looked at me, take it out. But at home I hugged him and all those things. No, take it out. Oh, okay. All right. We are capable of putting those hats. Mother. At home she is a mother. At school she is a teacher. The way she approaches is very different. Right? So, this is a 24 hours like how a mother. Even while sleeping, she is aware baby is sleeping. Not forgotten. In the same way, we also remember eternally that I belong to the Lord. When I have this idea very firmly in me, I belong to the Lord, then that feeling is called as being a bhakta. I belong. To whom do I belong? I belong to the Lord. Then I become a bhakta. I belong to my child. This child is mine. Now this, I belong to Bhagavan. Bhagavan is mine. I belong to Bhagavan. Bhagavan is mine. Tasya eva aham, mama eva asavo. Then one becomes a bhakta. And from that standpoint, yat karoshi, yadashnasi, yajjuhoshi, dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. It automatically happens. Okay? Thus, Ishvarapana buddhi is effortless. And prasada buddhi also is effortless. Karma yoga is effortless. There is no effort involved in karma yoga. Initially, to start with, you may have to put some effort. But once you get into that mold, then it is natural. Then you don't have to keep on telling, this is I'm doing for God, I'm doing for God. Everything you are doing is for God only. Now, why keep on telling? It is automatic. Then, anytime selfishness comes, anytime ego comes, it feels unnatural. Today, karma yoga feels unnatural. Later on, you will find ahankara yoga becomes unnatural. Karma yoga is natural. All right. So now, what is this karma yoga? Karma yoga is Ishvararpana buddhi plus prasada buddhi. Elsewhere in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Shri Krishna has mentioned Ma manusmara yudhyacha. Which chapter is this? Mam anusmara yudhyacha. Chapter 8. Chapter 8. Elsewhere in the Bhagavad Gita, Mayi sarvani karmani sanyasyadhyatma chetasa nirashiryata chittatma nirashir nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigatajvara. Which chapter is this? Third chapter. Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yaha lipyate rasapapena padmapatramivambasa. Which chapter is this? Fifth chapter. So many places Bhagavan Shri Krishna has touched upon. Elsewhere, to Arjuna, Nimitta Matram Bhava Savyasachin. 11th chapter. You only be an instrument in my hands. This is also Karma Yoga. A little more Karma Yoga grows. You have Ishvararpana buddhi, you are offering everything to Bhagavan. Prasada buddhi, you accept everything with equanimity as prasada for Bhagavan. A little more Karma Yoga when it is practiced, then finally you understand that actually I am not doing. Bhagavan only is doing. Bhagavan only is doing everything. I am only an instrument. He is doing everything. Who has given me energy? He only has given me energy. Who is giving the ideas? Bhagavan only is giving the ideas. Who is giving the capacity? He is only giving the capacity. Who is accomplishing everything? He only is accomplishing everything. Then even the idea of I am doing for Bhagavan is gone. And what is there? I am only instrument. Bhagavan only is doing everything. Okay? This comes with little more maturity of Karma Yoga. And this is called as Karana Buddhi. Karana is instrument. Karana buddhi. Meaning, I am only an instrument in Bhagavan's hand. I am Bhagavan's flute. Flute is empty. And when Sri Krishna uses the flute, then divine melody comes. If you see the flute is empty. And music comes out. In the same way, I am empty. Bhagavan flows through me. This is little advanced Karma Yoga. Okay? So all these ideas are encompassed. Now we go to the next verse. What is the next verse? So first verse, Uddharayed Atmanatmanam showed us that we are in samsara, we are responsible for lifting ourselves from the samsara and to become that yoga-rudha, to gain that oneness with the Lord. First verse. Second verse said, yes, at this point of time, even if we understand, we may not be able to abide in that yoga, and therefore one should take up to the action, and in the action one should practice prasada buddhi. Not focus upon the results, but rather accept the results with equanimity. Second verse. Third verse said that action should be performed as a worship unto the Lord. That is the third verse. Okay. Now Karma Yoga topic moves to the maturity of devotion. Remember, Karma Yoga also is devotion. Without devotion, Karma Yoga cannot be practiced. Okay? So Karma Yoga has this component of love for the Lord in it. Now this love for the Lord matures, and then one enters into bhakti. Karma Yoga itself is bhakti. But bhakti has also got different levels. Okay, now let us read the next verse. You all know the verse, so we'll chant it together. Ananyāścintayanto mam ye janāః paryupāsate
tesham nityabhiyuktānam yogakshemam vahamyaham.
Ananyāha ye ananyāha ye janāha ananyāha mam cintayantaha paryupāsate tesham nityabhiyuktānam yogakshemam vahamyaham. So devotion grows in levels. In the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Sri Krishna has given different ways or different levels or different capacities by which we can be devoted to the Lord. First Bhagavan would say, Mayyeva mana ādatsva Mayi buddhim niveshaya nivasishyasi mayyeva ata urdhvam na samshayaha. Anyone knows this verse? Mayyeva mana ādatsva mayi buddhim niveshaya nivasishyasi mayyeva ata urdhvam na samshayaha. This is the highest level. What is the level? Mayyeva mana ādatsva. Let your mind be fixed in me. Mayi buddhim niveshaya. Let your buddhi abide in me. Manas, buddhi. Mind goes there where there is joy. That's the way of the mind. Buddhi goes where there is respect, reverence, and a sense of higherness about it. You will see that. Somebody may be very devoted to somebody devoted to Guru, somebody devoted. So that has a sense of respect, reverence. But mind may be in something very low. Like a eagle which flies very high. But where its attention is on the dead bodies, where it can catch, or a vulture high, attention is for lower. Mind's attention is where it finds joy. Buddhi's attention is where it holds in the altar of reverence. Buddhi is there. So matchittaha, matparaha, Bhagavan Shri Krishna would say. So mayeva manadatsva, meaning see all joy in me. Mayi buddhim niveshaya, see as your altar of reverence me. Nivasishyasi mayeva, if this is how your mind and intellect is, you will ever abide in me. Highest level of devotion. Mayyeva manadatsva, mayi buddhim niveshaya, nivasishyasi mayyeva, ata urdhvam na samshayah. Then Bhagavan would say, ata chittam samadhatum na shaknosi mayi stiram abhyasa yogena tataha mamichaptum dhananjaya. Arjuna, if you are not able to do this, just your mind is not immediately going to the Lord. Your buddhi is not immediately going to the Lord. But here and there they go. You are not able to focus. Yes, even though you understand, even though you say there is no object, there is no pleasure here, there, and Bhagavan is full joy, it is Bhagavan alone I need. Even though your mind understands something, it is not going. Then what you should do? Ata chittam samadhatum na shaknoshi mayi stiram. If you are not able to hold your mind in me this way, Arjuna, then what you should do? Abhyasa yogena tataha ma michaptum dhananjaya. Then you take to Abhyasa yoga. What is Abhyasa yoga? It's a method of practice. Abhyasa is practice. Then what you do? If your mind is not able to go abstractly into that Lord and dwell in the Lord, then you do this thing. You have an altar. You have a Bhagavan Shri Krishna altar or Lord Shiva's altar. And then use that altar as your method by which again and again you can go. Use the altar. Lord Shiva, you bring your mind, bring your attention to that Lord Shiva. Karpura Gauram, Karunavataram. All of you know this verse? Tell me. Karpura Gauram, Vataram, Saram, Pujagendraharam, Sada Vasantam, Hridayaravindeya, Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami. Or Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gagana Sadrisham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Virdhyanagamyam Vande Vishnum Bhavabhayaharam Sarvalokayekanatham. Like that. Keep an altar, and through that form, you try to connect with me. You do this. So first one is what? Naturally the mind and the intellect go to Bhagavan. If the mind and buddhi is like that, you will ever abide in me. And that kind of abidance is called as ananyaha. Not going anywhere. Anya is other. Ananyaha means what? With no otherness. Totally to the Lord. Naturally to the Lord. Mind does not go anywhere. Buddhi does not see anything as worthy. The Buddhi sees the Lord alone is worthy. The mind does not see happiness anywhere. The mind sees that all happiness is the Lord alone. This is called ananya. Totally, naturally, effortlessly, fully, completely. And if it is not happening, what you should do? You take it to Abhyasa Yoga. You slowly start practicing. With the help of a support, alambana, you do it. Ata chittam samadhatum na shaknoshi mai stiram abhyasa yogena tataha mam ichcha aptum dhananjaya mam aptum ichcha he dhananjaya. You do this. Then, if this is also not possible, Bhagavan Shri Krishna gives, if this is not possible, that means what? This ananyaha is the first one. If that is not possible, ananya, how it is possible? When it is matchitta matpara. What is matchitta matpara? Matpara is, you see the Lord alone as the altar, highest altar of devotion. And what is matchitta? You see the Lord alone as the most delightful. Chitta is mind. Mayeva manadatsva. Buddhi is Mayeva manadatsva. Mayi buddhim, where you have the highest reverence, respect. Where you have the highest love is matchitta. When you have the highest love, where you have the highest, you feel Bhagavan alone is my joy. There is no joy anywhere else. That is matchitta. And Bhagavan alone is worthy of gaining. Matpara. Worthy is matpara. Lovable, enjoyable is what? Is matchitta. Where this understanding is there and where that perfection of comprehension is there and fully you are convinced about it, and now all vasanas and all those things are also not there, then it becomes ananya, the high level of devotion. And if that is not possible, what you should do? You use alambana, use a support. Because mind is getting distracted, no? Use a support. Then what will happen? Mind will remain there. And especially with a form and all, it becomes easier to focus. Abhyasa yoga. Now let us say, somebody says, even this is difficult for me. Abhyase api asamartosi. Even if this abhyasa is difficult for you, abhyase api asamartosi, then what? Matkarma paramo bhava. You engage in actions, you engage in various forms of practices, karma, which have got me as their altar. Do Bhagavat Katha Shravana, Shravanam, Kirtanam. Kirtanam, what you do also in the evening, Kirtanam, Bhajanam, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. Take up various activities which has got the Lord alone as the aim. Study the Bhagavata. Listen to the Ramayana. Shravanam. Kirtanam. Allocate specific time. These are all actions, okay? Spiritual practices. The rest is not a spiritual practice. Rest is going. By itself it is happening. The first one is natural. Anadyaha is natural. Mat karma, mat chitta is natural. There is no pressure, nothing. Mind is naturally growing there. The next one is a practice with a support you are doing. The same thing you are doing with a support you are doing. That is the second one. If you are not able to do it with a support also, then what you should do, then take up specific actions which are related to God. Nama japa. 1 hour I will do japa. This many malas I will do japa. Every day I will write 5 pages of Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Every day I will read 1 chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. I will read, just a chanting I will do. Every day, 18 times I will chant the Panchamritam, Bhagavad Gita, Gita Panchamritam. Specific actions you take. Every day I will visit the temple. Every day I will do puja. So make your day in such a manner. There are plenty of activities which are related to the Lord. Okay? Abhyase api asamartosi vatkarma parabo bhava madarthamapi karmani. This way taking up various spiritual practices, kurvan siddhim avapsyasi, you will come to that siddhi. Which siddhi? Of matchitta and matpara. You will gain that capacity. Siddhi is capacity. You will accomplish that the mind is effortlessly tuned to the Lord. First step is what? Mayyeva manatatsva. Mayi buddhim niveshaya. That we said as what? Matchitta, matpara. First step. And this matchitta, matpara is equal to ananya. Nowhere else. Anya is other. Nowhere else. Now that is not possible. Then what you should do? Then abhyasa yoga. Through an altar, through a particular concrete form, you try. If that is also not possible, first is what? Matchitta matpara. Second is what? Abhyasa yoga. And third, abhyasa yoga also is not possible. Then what you should do? Then mat karma you should do. What is mat karma? Various practices associated with Bhagavan. Mat karma you should do. Okay? Now, let us say, I can't do that also. Bhagavan Shri Krishna does not leave any option. I can't do that also. Then Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, Mother, Ata tadapya shaktosi kartum matyoga mashrataha. If you can't do, then what? Sarva karma phalatyagam tata kuru yatatmavan. What is sarva karma phalatyaga? Prasada buddhi. Ishvararpana buddhi. In other words, you do karma yoga. Okay? And that is what we saw. Now, Bhagavan has said, if you can't do this, you do this. If you can't do this, you do this. If you can't do this, you do this. And he brought you up to Karma Yoga. That means what? After Karma Yoga, what you should do? Opposite side you have to go now. Right? What you should do? Bhagavan has said what? Let us first revise a step. What is the first step? Matchitta, matpara. If that is not possible, what should be done? Abhyasa yoga. If Abhyasa yoga is not possible, what is the one to be done? Mat karma. You understand what is mat karma? Taking up various spiritual practices related to Bhagavan. If mat karma is not possible, what is to be done? Karma yoga is to be done. Now from karma yoga we finished. That means how you should go now. Now from karma yoga you take up into mat karma. Are you following? And from mat karma what you should do? Abhyasa yoga. And from Abhyasa yoga what you should do? Matchitta matpara. And matchitta matpara is equal to what? Ananyaha. Ananya shintayanto mam. Yoga. Are you saying? But Swamiji, where these verses what you said, 12th chapter, which verses are there if I want to go through again in Gurudev's commentary? All of you have got the Holy Gita? Yes. Which verses? Verse number 8, 9, 10, 11. 12.8 to 12.11. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 11. 8th verse, 12.8 speaks of Matchitta Matpara. 12.9 speaks of Abhyasa Yoga. 12.10 speaks of Mat Karma. And 12.11 speaks of Karma Yoga. Thus goes step by step. From Karma Yoga you cannot immediately go there, jump there. You take up these steps. And lot of restlessness of the mind is there, Karma Yoga. When that mind becomes very quiet, Bhakti can be practiced only if the mind has got some quietude in it. Otherwise it can't practice. Bhakti is of the nature of quietening the mind. In Karma Yoga, mind can be active, fully active, but still you can keep Bhagavan in your. You can still be attentive of Bhagavan. That is Karma Yoga. Now, Bhakti, Karma Yoga is also Bhakti, remember. In Karma Yoga also devotion is there. But when we say Bhakti Yoga, what happens? That mind which is in all varieties of activity, slowly the mind becomes quieter and quieter and it is able to focus more and more. So the natural progress of Karma Yoga is Bhakti Yoga. Karma Yoga is the first ladder in the rung of Bhakti. The second ladder will be called what? Mat Karma. Third ladder will in the ladder the third rung will be what? Mat Karma. Alright, first one. Karma Yoga. Next one is what? Mat Karma. Next one will be what? Abhyasa Yoga. And next one will be what? Matchitta Matpara, which will become Ananya. Okay? So Ananya, those whose minds go nowhere, those whose minds are totally in me, Ananya. Ananyaha chintayanto mam. And those who are, so Ananyaha means what? No different. For them mind goes nowhere, only to Bhagavan. Their minds are totally immersed in the Lord. Ananyaha. Amirabai. Tukaram. Namadeva. Ananyaha. Ananyaha chintayanto mam. And their minds are always immersed in me and thinking about me and me alone. Ye janaha paribhasate. Those bhaktas, ye janaha, those bhakta janas, paribhasate, who are continuously immersed in me. Upasate, worship. Paribhasate, continuously in worship only. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, continuously in worship. We may not be in that state now. We may be probably in the first stage, Karma Yoga, but slowly we will move to that. Ye janaha paryupasate tesham, for them, nitya abhiyuktanam, nitya, eternally, abhiyukta, fully united. Never is a moment in their life where they are disconnected with me. Tesham nityabhiyuktanam, abhiyukta. Nitya is satatam, ever. Abhiyuktanam, ever united with me. Ever their minds are in me, their hearts are in me. If thus they are totally immersed in the Lord, we may not even be able to, some examples will help us to understand. Like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, always. He is even performing his arti to Devi, but he is seeing Devi everywhere. Devi everywhere. Everywhere he is seeing, including Devi himself also is seeing. So the arti is doing this way. Suddenly what does he do? He sees that Devi in himself only. Then again he does himself. People think he is mad, he is fooled. What's gone wrong with him? Imagine you go to the temple, Puchari, who does arti for Lord Shiva. Suddenly he is doing arti for himself. What will you feel? What's wrong with him? Because he sees God everywhere. There's no anya for him. There's no object which is other than the Lord for him. That Krishna whom he worships, he sees everywhere. Ananya. A very different state of comprehension. Karma Yoga, you are doing for God. Now here, everything is God only. Everything is Bhagavan only. Everything is my Sri Krishna only. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Ananyaha. Chintayanto mam. And therefore, since they see the Lord alone everywhere, wherever they see, for them Lord only is seen. So thinking about Lord is not an action for them. Thinking about the Lord is a natural state of existence for them. Bhakti has reached its highest peak. Ananyaha chintayanto mam. Ye janaha paryupasate. Pari is everywhere. Paryupasate. Everywhere. They worship me alone. Yacchakincha jagat sarvam drishyate shruyate piva antarbahishcha yat sarvam vyapya narayana stita. Yacchakincha jagat sarvam drishyate shruyate piva antarbahishcha tat sarvam vyapya narayana stita. Everywhere Narayana only. Tesham, thus who are there, nityabhiyuktanam, ever united with me. Not even the ego arises for them. Even that ego is also seen as Bhagavan only for them. Very, very different state, highest state of devotion. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Bhagavan says for them, Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. Yogakshemam Vahamyam. What is yoga? What is kshema? Yoga is gaining of what is not gained. Apraptasya prapti. What you don't have. That person's life, something is required. But his mind is totally occupied in Bhagavan only. Don't worry. I take care of him. He is my responsibility. She is my responsibility. I take care. Yoga kshemam. Yoga, what did we say yoga is? Apraptasya praptihi. What is required? If it is not there, Bhagavan says, I do it. Bhagavan takes full responsibility. Yoga. And what is kshema? Kshema is protecting what is gained. Praptasya rakshanam. These are the two things we do. We do it now in our life we do. What we don't have, we try to gain. And what we have gained, we try to protect. Bhagavan says, I will do it for him. Why? He is ever immersed in me. Yogakshemam vahamyam. To the highest devotee, Bhagavan gives the assurance, I am responsible for you. more we have to see. In the next session we will see. More details we shall see. There's a very powerful verse. Yogakshemam vahamyaham. We'll see. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.